this moment right now is the moment out of all the other infinite possibilities and dimensions of reality I could have shifted to. It is the most profound moment I could be in because this moment has the greatest opportunity for my spiritual evolution. Welcome back to another Vibes and Frequencies video. My name's Nathan, and on my channel here, I talk about powerful tools of transformation, which to me are crystals. That's my background. So if you're new to my channel, there you go. Now, the crystal in specific we're talking about in this video is actually a tektite, and it's called Moldavite. Now, specifically what we're talking about with this crystal, because I've said a lot about Moldavite in different videos already, this video is targeted towards using Moldavite to shift ourselves into a parallel reality. But in this sense, the parallel reality isn't going to just be any parallel reality you could imagine, like in one you've got a monkey tail and in one you're flying, right? We could do this, but this video is about shifting to the most optimal parallel reality, the timeline that is most relevant to us right now in this moment. In a sense, the most powerful place that we could possibly be. So in this video, I'm going to explain what I mean by that. We're going to dissect it and go a little bit further, well, a lot further. And I'm also going to explain to you how we can do this. And this is going to be seriously applicable, okay? You don't have to be some guru master to do this. This is literally something that we already are doing continuously. So what this video is going to do is it's going to share some tools with you and some awareness that you can use and also that I can use. Together, you and I, all of us here, are going to shift ourselves to the most optimal timeline of reality, and we're just going to be existing in the most perfect place to possibly be. So this being said, let's get into it. Boom. Number one coming at you. The first thing that I want to say is going to seem like it doesn't have to do with Moldavite, but I promise I'll tie into it real quick here, okay? The first thing I want to say is that I personally believe, this is my own personal belief, you don't have to resonate with this, you can apply it in your own way that's relevant to your belief systems, but for me, I believe that I am here for a multitude of reasons, but one very specific reason is to lower the entropy of the universe by lowering the momentum of, maybe I guess you could perhaps say karma in a sense, if you're familiar with this term, lowering all entropy. So I'm talking about lowering good momentum karma, and I'm talking about lowering bad momentum karma, okay? Good, bad, quote unquote. You guys get me there. And this is because you might be thinking, well, wouldn't you want good karma, right? Like if we think about the basic idea that a lot of us have about karma and we keep it kind of simple, you know, do good things happen to you. It goes so much deeper, and that really just, it doesn't even dip your toes in the water, but let's just say that's what it is. Well, this could be good, and you could see it as being fun in our reality, in our existence, to have this kind of good momentum of things happening around us and have this kind of force of just falling into good things. But to dissolve this momentum, to lower our entropy, is to find our consciousness and our soul and our physical form and all other dimensions of existence right here, with no force pushing in any direction, just right here. And when we are right here in this moment fully, and I'm talking seriously fully, I'm talking no universal or spiritual momentum in any direction, that is where we find who we truly are. That is where we exist, and where we have the most profound aha moment of our existence, is in this space without any momentum or any force pushing us. So I hope that this makes sense so far. The next thing that I want to say, so number two is something that I won't explain super deep because I've got a lot of Moldavite videos, and I know most of you guys watching are probably my subscribers and know these things. So this being said, Moldavite is really incredible, nutshell version, at bringing up a lot of layers of us, okay? A lot of people notice that Moldavite kind of turns their life upside down, causes a lot of, you know, uncomfortable, stir-crazy type things going on. And once we confront those things, as you get further in your work with Moldavite, we end up releasing them, letting them go, and realizing who we truly are. So this takes place by things being brought up that are heavy weight that we've been carrying around on us. Now, these are things that we are externally carrying, things that we are internally carrying, And when we get even further with our work with Moldavite, we start releasing things that we have been dimensionally and multidimensionally carrying for something that exists outside the concept of time that I'm not going to get into, but just use your imagination. There's a lot that we're carrying, that we do have a lot of momentum that we aren't necessarily perceptive to, but really has a lot to do with where we are and what direction we're going. It is kind of this echo that just keeps bouncing and bouncing and bouncing and growing bigger and bigger in complexity. So I'm going to end it there because I don't want to get too far out quite yet without giving the fundamental kind of awareness tools so that we know what I'm talking about first. So the next thing that I want to say, I already talked about our spiritual evolution, right? So our spiritual evolution is us coming, you could say, closer to who we truly are, to this pure source. I'm not going to tell you if that's light and love. That's your own personal beliefs. So this being said, it's coming to our internal source and of our creation and whatever that means to you and however that resonates. We do have this momentum that is pushing us in different directions, though. So the Moldavite will help us through using it, through shifting our vibration to the Moldavite and working with it in all these different kinds of ways. We will be lowering that momentum and coming closer and closer to who we truly are in all of these different kinds of dimensions of things. Now, the truth about dimensions and what I'm explaining to you here is what I believe to be fundamental rules of how reality literally works. We are constantly shifting over and over and over and over again. You are never in the same place, ever. You are constantly basically teleporting around. If you want to think of it as a bunch of different Earths exist, like we'll say that Earth is the reality, right, that I'm talking about. When you are shifting to the planet, right? This is just how I'm going to explain it. You're shifting to the planet that is vibrationally resonant of your vibration and your frequency. Okay, this is something I've been talking about lately, but this is really powerful information, guys, because what it means is the awareness is our power, and we can use this power to understand and be aware of the fact that we are constantly shifting to places that are relevant to our frequency. Our frequency is not based on the place that we are at. The place that we are at is based on our frequency. So we have the power, and we can shift our frequency literally like that. It does not take any work. It does not take any effort. All it takes is a basic understanding and a childlike ability to let go of beliefs that you've been carrying, and a childlike ability to accept the ones that are empowering to you and that allow you to do this kind of shifting. So that takes inner work, which again, Moldavite is all about inner work. Moldavite, we find ourselves in this place, right? So many things coming up. I've got a lot of videos on how we work through these things and what these things mean and how we can apply them. So you guys know this, and I know that most of you here are all familiar with Moldavite and are totally Moldavite pros. You know what I'm talking about this. We are shifting constantly, right? So let's shift this video into a new dimension where I make it way more relevant and mention the title of this video again, and then we'll take it that way, right? We are trying to shift ourselves to what I'll call the most optimal timeline, okay? Now, this being said, what does the most optimal timeline mean? The most optimal timeline is the dimension of reality that you will find yourself in that has the most probability of spiritual evolution. What this means is this version of reality, the most optimal timeline, is the one that your consciousness is shifting into, because this realm, if you want to talk about it, this dimension that I'm in right now, this moment right now, is the moment out of all the other infinite possibilities and dimensions of reality I could have shifted to. It is the most profound moment I could be in, because this moment has the greatest opportunity for my spiritual evolution. This means spiritually evolving myself, to know myself better, to resonate with my own true frequency more true and way more full than I ever have. That's right now. This is why I'm here, is because out of all the other possibilities in the universe, all the other places my consciousness could find itself relevantly existing and perceiving within, my consciousness chose here, because this moment is the one to look around and understand that everything here is happening for me, not to me. And once we look around ourselves and we try to see the benefit that we could get from things, okay? This means not just looking at what's here and thinking about what you want to change, not just looking around and thinking about what you dislike or what you would like, but seeing everything that is literally what it is right here, not projecting our own thoughts onto it, not projecting our ego onto these things, and finding ourselves seeing it exactly as it is, because it is a reflection of you right now in this moment. So by looking around me and really, really looking and really finding myself giving attention to my surroundings for what they truly are, without my own thought and ego imprint upon them, what I'm really doing is understanding myself right now in this moment. This being said, once we resonate fully with what is happening around us and where we are, and we realize that where we are is the place to be. This is the most happening place in the whole universe for my soul and my consciousness, if we want to explain it this way. This is the most happening place because this is the version, this is the timeline where I will reach my spiritual evolution the most effectively. There's a much higher intelligence of myself, of source creation, we could just call it here, that knows exactly where I should be, and I'm the one choosing. Okay, so it is all my power. It's not surrendering our power outside of something or whatever, just deciding where you're going to be. It's you. You put yourself here for a reason, okay, in this moment right now. Now, I kind of went more deep into that and trying to explaining that than I wanted to, but it happened. We talked about Moldavite and how it brings up these layers in us and allows us to confront the things that we're holding on to that aren't true to who we truly are. I've talked about how by paying attention to the outside and really looking at it for what it is, so we're looking inside and outside at what it truly is, fully accepting and appreciating it, that's when we can receive the benefit. Once we accept everything, become fully neutral with it and see it for what it is, then we receive the benefit, and then, boom, your consciousness, your spirit, all of this shifts itself to the next most optimal timeline for you to then exist in that dimension of reality until you find yourself discovering who you are based on, again, really looking inside, really looking outside, really feeling everything for what it is. We receive the benefit, then boom, shift into the next most optimal timeline and dimension of reality. Right? So this just keeps going. So literally, what I'm trying to say here to you is that you are on the most optimal timeline right now. The most optimal timeline that is relevant to your own spiritual evolution is exactly where you're sitting or standing right now watching this video. It's everything about you right now. Everything you're feeling inside, everything you're feeling outside. Using Moldavite to dissolve these layers, to let our ego flow in the wind and blow away for just a moment, okay? Because there is a lot of use for our ego. There is a lot of use for it. But this is one of the uses, is to be able to learn how to let it go, in my opinion. That adds a lot of power and strength to us. So to do this, to find ourselves fully present in the moment, which out of all the crystals that I've worked with, Moldavite is the best at helping me learn how to, like, for instance, even just meditate, right? And be able to find myself slowing down my thoughts in the first place, to be able to see what is truly going on around me and inside of me. So again, then we just keep shifting, shifting, and shifting. Now, if you're like me, you'll probably be thinking that it's pretty amazing what I'm talking about with the dimensional shifting, right? And how we shift to the most optimal timelines. Something that I want to express to you here is a question that you may or may not have, but I'm going to just address it anyways. And that's, well, how come when I shift to a new dimension of reality, I don't go, whoa, I just shifted? Okay? This is a great question. And the thing is that our brains function linearly. I mentioned this in the video where I talk about the Akashic Records, but our brains interpret and remember information linearly speaking. So when you shift to a new dimension, because the only thing that exists is right now in this moment, when you shift to this new optimal timeline of reality, whatever this dimension holds, so many things could be so far out and different, but you won't know it. What will happen is you will shift into that reality, and because everything is based on right now, all of a sudden, all your past memories, from point A to point B, all of that is dissolved from the old dimension, and it's now recreated so that you interpret that you have always been in this place. All your memories will have changed, and you will not know that you have shifted. You will not, but you will have, okay? Now, the video that I'm referencing here with the Akashic Records is how I talk about using Phenakite to do something similar to this. The power of the Phenakite crystal is to connect to our higher self and higher awareness, and I have actually been using Phenakite to remember the shifts that are taking place. So I have been working on this lately, and more videos to come on that, but again, I'll have this tagged in the description and at the end of the video if you're curious. So this being said, we are always existing in the most optimal timeline, but to put yourself in a place where what is making, I guess we could say, the most optimal use of the optimal timeline is to be present and is to pursue our highest passion, to follow our excitement and live our love, okay? When we are existing in a state of resistance, when we are, manifesting a lot of negativity, when we are interpreting everything around us as being negative, then that means we are not finding ourselves present and neutral. And what this means is we're not allowing ourselves to receive the benefit. And what this means is that you are not allowing yourself to shift to the next most optimal timeline, because it only goes up, 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 okay? Better, better, and better. And I'm doing quotes because there is no better, there is no worse. That's an understanding we have to be able to make the shift in the first place, because it really does need to be neutral. There is nothing better than right now, and there is nothing worse than right now. It literally, everything just is. But your soul, your spirit, your consciousness, whatever you want to say, isn't going to have the chance to shift unless you look in and you realize that part of yourself and you fully, it's a self-realization. And what is Moldavite if not the tektite of transformation for self-realization? See what I'm saying? So, this video has been super long. Thank you for bearing with me and making it to this part of the video. You are the real MVP. And, if you are watching this, again, the point of this video isn't that, like, this video is what's going to shift you. And then again, it will if you allow it and give it permission to. Because this video, your computer screen, the chair you're sitting in, all of these things literally are you. They are your manifestation. So I'm literally you talking to yourself, if that makes sense. And once we see this, once you accept that me talking to you right now is really a reflection that you are gifting yourself the opportunity to see, the information doesn't come from me, it's coming from you. That's why you're able to perceive it and why you're here in the first place. Then you could choose to receive the benefit, You could choose to be triggered by this video and get all upset, and for whatever reason. I'm not sure why you might. Maybe this information just triggers you for some reason and you don't like it. But, again, this is your most optimal timeline. So whatever reaction you have is what you're meant to be having. Just resonate with whatever it is that you're feeling about anything, about any video you watch or any information you stumble upon. Accept it, become neutral with it, receive whatever benefit was that you put it there for yourself in the first place. Boom, transition to a new dimension of the next most optimal thing. So at this point, I'm just reiterating the same thing over and over. I know that you guys are super intelligent, super smart, awesome people, and I'm super lucky to have you guys on my channel and have people to talk to about these kinds of really just far out kind of information type things, right? So, this being said, thank you for watching this Vibes and Frequencies video. Don't forget to like if you liked it. Don't forget to drop a comment if you want to talk about this. I will talk to you all day about anything that has to do with dimensions, okay? I will. And crystals for that matter. And 3, don't forget to subscribe if you are not already. And if you watch this far, then you probably should subscribe. This has been a long video, so yeah. Okay, anyways, thank you. I will see you guys in a day from today for my next Vibes and Frequencies video. And until then, have an awesome day, awesome night, awesome everything. Make sure to receive the benefit because you deserve it and you owe it to yourself. Goodbye.